Fly ball, center field. It's hit deep. Out toward Monty's angle. It is number 50. 2 pitch to Bell. Swing and a miss. He got him. It's a 3-hit shutout.
I don't know any bigger than this right here. That ball was center cut. That's a bad mistake. 0-2 with nobody on.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bryce Harper. Suarez delivers. Swing and a drive. Left field. It's deep. It's going. Yes! And it is gone. Yes!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the newest episode of Phillies Report with Luke Arcani. My name, obviously, is Luke Arcani. Thank you guys for being here. Phillies Report always sponsored by FOCO, as you can see right there. Brought to you by FOCO. Always a link down in the description. Grab everything you need. You see stuff on the back. You see bobbleheads, all the goods, overalls, bobbleheads, hats, shirts, hoodies. They got everything you need. Link down in the description. Everything is there. It is good to be back. A little hiatus sort of thing and a weekend away type of thing. But very, 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 very good to be back. Especially now that, we have some games to talk about. We have some things to see. And like the title of this podcast, we have some things to overreact to. If you're in the chat, all the thoughts down in the chat. I want to hear your overreaction so far, what you're thinking, what's on your mind. I want all these podcasts, like I've said, the first couple episodes of Phillies Report. I want all these to be, interactive with you guys. I don't feel like sitting here talking at you guys for a half hour. Any thoughts you guys let me know down in the comments. Anything going on with the Phillies right now? Who got their first win today? Finally, they win a Grapefruit League game today against the Tigers. A lot of big names out there. Big start, for the lineup today. Harper was in there. Schwarber was in there. JT, Bohm, Kemp. A lot of guys out there today. Justin Crawford was in the lineup. We'll get to that. But, some good things today. Multiple RBIs for Bohm. I thought he had a good plate. Bryce Harper's first hit, obviously, of the spring. A nice double to score JT from first. A lot of good things going on. It's so fun. I thrive for early spring training baseball. I love watching guys go out there with no names on the back of their jerseys and pitchers coming in and late substitutions where there's only numbers and there's times where you have to go look up. You're watching. I live for early spring training baseball. It makes me incredibly happy. Good to be back once again. But, I do kind of want to start this off at the top with Justin Crawford because it's been an electric start. Obviously, he starts off his spring with the homer that just goes foul. I think it was like 1 or 2 pitches later. He then goes double off the wall, standing into second base. Biggest thing for Crawford so far is he's looked comfortable. And not like these guys should have any reason not to look comfortable early in the season and especially early in spring training. But, he doesn't look like scared out there. He looks like he's just out there playing ball. And, that's what the Phillies need him to do. They don't need Justin Crawford to go out and be a hero. They don't need him to go out and make an all-star team. They don't need him to go out and hit 30 home runs. They need Justin Crawford to be Justin Crawford. Go steal bags, take the extra base, play a good defense in center field, slap hit across the whole field. We all know Rob Thompson, continues to praise over the years using the whole field at the plate. And that's been a Crawford specialty over the years. He's really been doing that early in camp so far. It seems like he's already comfortable around the guys, and it's good because he's going to have to get used to that because, he's going to be the starting center fielder for the Phillies on opening day, barring anything, crazy. It's nice to see him out there and look comfortable. It's good to see him just playing his game. Not necessarily going out there trying to be somebody who he's not, trying to be somebody else. He's going out there playing how Justin Crawford plays, and it's obviously paying off. The ball he caught in center field today, I thought was awesome. That Florida sun gets to you quick down there. And for him, wasn't a ton of ground covered, but it was a perfect tracking of the baseball. It was the complete, right line to the wall, had it all the way, looked comfortable doing it, had the little jump into the wall after. Just little things like that from, a rookie that's, going to man the center field job and man the outfield. The center field position runs the outfield. If a center fielder can get to a ball, it's the center fielder's ball every time. So it's nice to see young guys do that early. It's nice to see them start to develop habits early. For a guy like Crawford, who's played a lot of left, it's a big step. And, the major leagues, going from the minor leagues to the major leagues is one big step already, but going from a corner outfield spot to, manning the entire outfield in your first game in professional baseball, he's going to go out there most likely on March 26th, and he's going to go from a AAA left fielder last year to manning a major league outfield for a team who's trying to win a World Series. It's a big step. But, he looks comfortable early, and that's the word I'm going to continue to fall back on, because him looking comfortable will lead to the best outcome for this team. Another guy that looked good today, Otto Kemp, had the homer today. Kemp is a guy who I'm really, really excited for. And I know we talked about this a little bit in the last pod, but Kemp is a guy that, got plagued last year. And I don't think Phillies fans got the full experience. And I think Otto would tell you that firsthand. I think the coaching staff would tell you that firsthand. I think everyone in the Phillies clubhouse would tell you that firsthand, that last year wasn't the best version of Otto Kemp. He had to get knee surgery after the season. He had to get shoulder surgery after the season. He was battling, through the knee thing the entire time that he was playing last year, because, it was easy enough for him, but, he wasn't 100%. Went deep today, went down and got a low off speed pitch in the zone and raked it out. I think it was like 419 feet out to center field, off of a lefty once again. And, that's going to be Kemp's calling card is how does he hit lefties? He was 5th last year among rookies against left-handed pitching. How does he continue to hit left-handed pitching? Because that is going to be, what he's doing all year. He is most likely going to be the Brandon Marsh platoon guy in left field. Brandon Marsh will play left field against righties. Otto Kemp will play left field against lefties. Granted, if they need him other spots, they can use him in the infield. Obviously, today he played second, but there's not really going to be a ton of need for second against lefties. They have Edmundo Sosa there. So, Kemp's going to get a lot of time in left field, specifically against left-handed pitching. And I know one of the things I keep falling back on is the Phillies have continued to praise Otto Kemp the entire offseason. And what stuck out to me is that it's been a part of that young core. I feel like every time somebody asks Rob Thompson about the young core, or, what's going on with the young guys and the Painters and the Millers, and Rob Thompson always says Andrew Painter, Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, and Otto Kemp. He puts Otto Kemp in that group of young guys that are going to have a chance to help this team this upcoming year. Yeah, Otto Kemp's not a 20-year-old prospect anymore, but he's a guy that, made his major league debut last year and did a lot of good things for the Phillies last year. And the Phillies are going to expect him to do a lot of good things this upcoming year. And, I keep going back to, the whole Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins stuff over the last couple of days. We'll just leave that there. But, I think partially one of the reasons why the Phillies haven't been so, hell-bent on going to find another right-handed bat is because they really believe in Kemp. I think they believe in a healthy Kemp, and, they didn't get that last year. And I think this is the year you'll see it. I'm very excited for it. And the Phillies are as well. He's earned this opportunity. And, if you look at it now, right, and you go and look at the outfield, and I think throughout the offseason, it was this outfield still isn't good enough. This outfield still isn't good enough. This outfield still isn't good enough. Well, if you get, the Justin Crawford we think, yeah, and even if it's a little lower, if it's a 270 average from Crawford with a mid to high 300s on base percentage in the 9-hole with 25 to 30 steals and plays a good center field, that's completely fine from Justin Crawford. I will sign up for that every single day of the week. But when you start to look at this outfield, if you get, and obviously I started this off with if you get, so yes, things are hypothetical. Everything's hypothetical. The season hasn't started yet. If you get the May 1st to October 1st, Brandon Marsh from last year against right-handed pitching, paired with the Otto Kemp that the Phillies believe is in there against lefties, you put those two stats together, that's nearly an all-star left fielder. And then you're really just hoping for that right field spot for Adolis to just run away with it. And that'll be the make or break, I think, because people don't want to see Alec Bohm in the cleanup spot anymore. I don't want to see Alec Bohm in the cleanup spot anymore. I've said multiple times, I think the Phillies have done Alec Bohm a little bit of a disservice because Alec Bohm's just not a cleanup hitter. And he gets forced into the cleanup spot every single year because the Phillies don't find a cleanup hitter. And I think if Alec Bohm was a 7-hitter for the last 4 years or a 6-hole guy, I don't think the fan base would be as bullish, or as turned on Bohm as they have, if he was a 6-hole guy compared to the cleanup guy behind Bryce Harper. And you've heard all the Bryce stuff about how they need protection behind them and they need, that right-handed guy in the cleanup spot. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. They need Adolis to potentially take that role. They need Bohm to have a better season than he did last year. But at the same time, no matter who's behind Bryce or not, Bryce Harper has to hit the ball still. I think things could be solved if Bryce Harper wanted to hit second. I think things would change. I don't think Bryce Harper wants to hit second in this lineup. I think having a lineup of Trey, Bryce, Schwarber, that gives you protection for Bryce. I don't think Bryce Harper wants to hit second in this lineup. I think he wants to hit third. So now he's stuck with a guy like Alec Bohm and a potential bounce back Adolis Garcia behind him. But that's neither here nor there. But very excited for this Kemp thing because that's what we were talking about. Because he's looked good. He's this big, bulky right-handed bat that can put some power behind a baseball. That's a guy that can hit 6th or 7th in your lineup when he's really going. That's not an immediate 8-hole guy. If Otto Kemp is going, how the Phillies know he can go and how they're expecting him to go. I don't think that's necessarily an 8-hole guy. I think that's a good baseball player is what they're, sort of expecting. Once again, if you guys are in here, any thoughts down in the replies, any overreactions, I'm going to get to a few in a couple minutes about the bullpen. I'm not going to say I'm the first one that got really excited about the bullpen this offseason, but I'll say I was the first one that got really excited about the bullpen this offseason. Fine. Yeah. No, I was. I really do think I was very early when they started making these trades and the signings. I think the bullpen's going to rock. I think it's going to be the best bullpen in a really, really, really long time. The best bullpen of the Harper era for sure. At least to start a season. Because, you go down and you finally get a full season Duran, and then you go to Brad Keller. I'm so disgustingly in on Brad Keller. Can't wait to watch him pitch in the World Baseball Classic. Looked really good today. First inning, he was used as a little bit of the opener there. Stuff looked really good. Velocity was, sitting at the right place where it needs to be in spring. And then you get into your Jose Alvarado, Orion Kerkering, Tanner Banks tier. And if you have Tanner Banks as a 5th guy in your bullpen after the season he had last year, that's a really good start to your bullpen. The biggest thing is what is the bounce back look like from Jose Alvarado after a whirlwind of a season last year with ups and downs and the suspension? It was everything in 1 year for Alvarado. What do you get from Kerkering? I'm expecting a big year from Kerkering. I really am. I think, him being the 3rd right-handed arm is really going to help his case. I think Kerkering being able to start off, in a bit of a lower leverage spot, not necessarily a fifth inning guy, but a lower leverage rather than an eighth inning. And if Duran's not available, then he could possibly get thrown in the ninth innings. That's a lot less likely to happen now that you have Keller. And then you go to the last three, which is fascinating to me right now. This is the best 6, 7, 8 the Phillies have had in the bullpen in a really long time. And they have options. The sixth spot will be Jonathan Bolin, obviously acquired in the Matt Strahm trade. Unless something crazy happens, that will be his spot. But then you get kind of into this trio and even more of guys, that can make this team. I've raved about Kyle Backus. I wrote about him on the Substack. That'll be linked down below as well. Been really enjoying writing on the Substack recently, and I've been getting a lot of positive feedback back about it. So I'm going to keep doing it. It's a cheap subscription. Don't have to subscribe. I will say I mentioned this in my most recent article on there. Once the season starts, and even potentially in the next couple of weeks, I am going to be doing some more subscriber based things. Some more in-depth real stuff for subscribers only. I'll still be doing, the free stuff. But $5.99 a month, I don't think that's crazy. If you do, that's okay. I'm not going to argue with you about it. But if you are interested in subscribing, it would really, really mean a lot. But the last three guys in this bullpen, I've raved about Kyle Backus. The stuff looks really good. He was up to 94 in his first outing, sat around the 93 mark today, but the stuff looked really good. He's going to be a menace for left-handed batters. The trick is, can he get the right-handed batters down? Because if he can, he's going to be as dangerous as anyone in the bullpen, because the stuff he throws against lefties is just ridiculous. Zach Pop has also looked really good. These three guys, Backus, Pop, and this last guy, this is kind of the fighting for the last three spots. Zach Pop's looked really good. I believe 2 outings so far. The stuff looks good. The fastball looks tight, which is good. But Zach Pop looks like he's able to get major league outs. And Phillies actually have him on the split deal. I think this is a position where Pop could definitely get that either 7th or 8th spot in the bullpen. And then you have Zach McCambley, who looked really good in his first outing, got a little roughed up today, but it was a little soft contact, a ball that just got under the glove of Otto Kemp in a right. And then he threw a really good down low, or it was a jam up pitch, like middle in on a righty to get a nice ground ball double play there to end the inning. Those last three guys, Backus, Pop, McCambley, will probably be the guys that can fight for those last 2 spots. Guys like Chase Sugar, sorry, don't know how to pronounce it. We'll figure that out eventually. Guys like that. Seth Johnson is another guy, was up to like 99.8 the other day. It's going to start topping out at 100 before we get to the season. That's intriguing if he can get control down and continue to keep the off speed, not crazy out of the zone. The Phillies have so many options. Nolan Hoffman's another one. They have a ton of options. Max Lazar. It's going to be a really, really, really good bullpen. I'm very excited about it. So just a quick, little outlook as well. Rob Thompson was on the broadcast, made some funny jokes about Tom McCarthy's bald head in the outfield. I don't know if anyone saw that. It's on my Twitter. It was very funny. McCarthy had the day off because I believe it was Fransky and Rube were doing the TV broadcast today. So Tom McCarthy had the day off. He was out in the outfield eating and drinking something and sitting out there with his bald head, and Rob Thompson made a funny son joke, but whatever. Starters for the next couple days. Taijuan Walker will start on Thursday. First start of the spring. All first starts of the springs for all these guys. Thursday is Taijuan. Friday's Aaron Nola. Would have to assume that would maybe be Nola's last start for now, because he's going to go over for the World Baseball Classic eventually. So Knowles goes on Friday. Christopher Sanchez goes in Dunedin on Saturday. That same day, Jesus Luzardo will throw a sim game at the complex, the Phillies complex, and Hull be set to start on Thursday versus the Red Sox. And then Sunday, the debut of Andrew Painter. Unbelievably excited. So happy the Phillies picked a game that's on TV. I would have been disgusted if Andrew Painter's first start of the year was only a MLB.com game or just a radio game. Everyone needs to see Andrew Painter. I'm going to be probably a little more locked in than I should be. But, everybody needs to see Andrew Painter. Anything else? If you guys got any thoughts, just, from the games, any guys that have stuck out, anything you're looking to see, because, we're in the thick of it now. We're getting into some of these games and the team's finally playing every day, and you're seeing highlights all over the thing again, and you're seeing guys start live BPs and batting practice, and baseball season's really back. It's really back. It's a month from today, or it's a month from tomorrow. So a month and a day. Opening day, March 26th. Cannot wait to be back down there with Crossing Broad, covering my, second season down at the stadium. But very, very excited for that. I've been enjoying the pods. I hope you guys have as well. Once again, I do just want to kind of keep these free flowing. I understand there's not, as many people in here today as we've had. I threw this together like 15 minutes before I went live. That's on me. I need to, schedule this stuff out more in advance and not schedule podcasts 15 minutes before they're supposed to go live. But if you're in here, I really do appreciate it. Listen, man, I keep looking out the window. I'm getting I'm so over the snow. Got like 15 inches where I live on I guess Monday. Woke up this morning, my car was covered again from like another inch and a half we got this morning. I'm over it. I'm so disgusted that I wasn't able to golf a single day outside in February this year, and the heck knows when it's going to all be melted. But next time I might see grass will probably be in Clearwater. I think I'm heading down there the second week of March. Very excited for that. I've actually never been to the Phillies spring training stadium ever as a fan, reporter, anything. I've never been to the Phillies stadium down in Clearwater. I'm extremely, extremely excited for that. Anything else? If you guys got anything else, let me know. But just kind of wanted to rip a quick one here. Didn't really want this to be too long. Had a bunch of thoughts on my head. Didn't want them to leave, so I figured I'd blare them out to you guys. If you guys enjoyed, throw me a rate. This whole rebranding thing has been really cool for me. I'm loving the new look of everything, getting everything set, back to how it was, and getting ready for the season. If you like it, throw it a 5 stars. Spotify, Apple, whatever the heck you guys listen to podcast on. There's a bajillion ways to listen to podcasts now. YouTube, if you're here on the Pick Swap Media YouTube, like, comment, subscribe if you're in here. Any updates on Rincones? It's a good question. I have not heard much. I know it came out, what was it, back in, so he's dealing with the left knee. I have not heard anything. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't want to just throw random stuff at you, but hasn't really been much movement. So Gabriel Rincones is a bit behind. Last update was from February 12th. That was about 13 days ago. I haven't heard much. Obviously all updates will be on my Twitter. But have not heard anything, which I am a little bit surprised. Have not heard anything on Gabriel Rincones Jr. But thank you guys for being here. This has been the newest episode of Phillies Report, which is once again sponsored by FOCO for all of your, apparel, bobblehead, hats, hoodies, shirts, cups, everything you need. Overalls, they have it. Link is always down. Link is always in my Twitter bio. Any of my social medias, my link tree is in there with all the links. The FOCO link is in there. And if you guys haven't already, just go check the Substack out. even if you just give it a follow, not even a subscription, just go check it out. I'm working through 40-man roster, writing about every other day about a different guy on the 40-man roster, going to take it up to the beginning of the regular season, but also doing some other stuff on there. I wrote a big thing about Castellanos on there, but like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing some more subscriber-based stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. Only $5.99 a month. I don't think that's that crazy. Hashtag support local journalism, I guess you could really say if you want to. But if you guys want to read, I would really appreciate it. I've been having a ton of fun. It's very laid back. It's realistically, it's like this podcast, but it's just typing my thoughts out instead of writing them. It's not some, APA format going on over there. We're just writing thoughts out over there. So if you're interested, you can head on over to Substack. I believe it's substack.com/ArcaniLuke to subscribe. So once again, thank you guys for being here. This has been the newest episode of Phillies Report with Luke Arcani. Thank you guys once again, and I will talk to you soon.